So Karen, thank you for coming today. I wanted to ask you some questions that might help IEP team leaders and other team members, so parents, educators, related service providers, and students, to be able to participate in an IEP team meeting in a way that in particular recognizes the different perspectives around compliance and collaboration and how to work well together as a team. So the first question I have for you is, when IEP teams get together, what are some of the legal considerations that all team members should be aware of?
Well, when we hear IEP, a lot of people do think legal, and I so enjoy the fact that you talk about compliance and collaboration, because sometimes there's an over-focus on the compliance and the forgetting how important the cooperation and collaboration is. And I think sometimes when people walk into IEP meetings, there is a focus on what is legal and what is not legal, but there are some basic ideas that are really important in an IEP meeting. And sometimes we forget what those are, and we start getting into detail. But I would say the most important legal requirements to consider is FAPE, which we all know is free and appropriate public education. And sometimes we forget that concept. And we're in this meeting, and that's the biggest legal issue to really consider. That is what you are offering in special education, and a parent is agreeing to through the IEP process, is what are the supports and services, what makes up a free and appropriate public education. The other legal requirement I think that we all need to consider is when we discuss FAPE, we're also talking about least restrictive environment. So those things go together. I'm not saying everybody has to sit there and think about FAPE, but sometimes we really need to remember that what special education is an opportunity for students with disabilities to be able to participate and make effective progress in the general education environment. That special education is a right, and it's a protection and a right for students with disability. And I think those are the important things to remember.
Yeah, I love what you're talking about with the student part, you know, that students do have a right, and that if we stray, right, from these considerations of FAPE and least restrictive environment, then we're actually straying from the rights of the student. I think it can be hard when people have other ideas in mind or other priorities in mind.
Yes.
And so I love what you're saying about like bringing people back to that.
Back to the foundation of exactly why we're here and what the intent of the law is.
Right,
Yeah.
and we all need reminders because the meetings are a little, you know, can be a little big eye creating.